Alessandra from South Bay TV, and we are here in San Pedro today at the new Pure
Your
Bar.
first class is always going to be free with us, so come in, take your first free class, see if it's something that you like and want to continue doing. We are the only retailer in San Pedro to sell premium activewear, actually.
Hello everyone, I'm Wayne Powell, and today we have Tom Backley, Chief Executive Officer of the Beach Cities Health District. Tom has been the CEO since 2016. Before that, he was the Hermosa Beach City Manager. He has a Master's of Public Administration from USC. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you for having me, Wayne.
Absolutely. The Beach Cities Health District is focused on preventative health and serves the communities of Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, and Redondo Beach. Established in 1955 as a public agency, they offer over 40 free community health programs and services that promote wellness and prevent disease. Their vision statement is very simple: a healthy beach community. Today we'll be talking about some of the Beach Cities Health District's health and wellness programs and also their proposed Healthy Living Campus. And before I forget, at least I not forget, for additional information, people can go to bchd.org.
That's correct.
All right, well, I want to start out with the Community Health Report.
Great.
It discusses the health priorities for 2022 through 2025, and they are mental health, physical and brain health, substance use, and public health and safety. Let's talk about mental health. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's an area of focus for the beach cities. It is probably one of our largest health issues that we have in the beach cities. We do lots of surveying, and we come in with Gallup and other survey tools, and what we're seeing with our adults and young people is there is a lot of stress, anger, and worry in the beach cities. And so especially with the pandemic and recent events, tragic events of this week, where there's a lot of stress and worry. And we used to talk about social emotional health, but after talking with the community, we've switched that focus to mental health, and that's something that we're devoting a lot of resources to.
And you mentioned it about, the school shootings,
Right.
or just shootings in general, and then teen suicides are a problem too.
Yeah, we're seeing that with our youth, that suicide ideation is higher than LA County and parts of California, and so that is an area of concern. Substance use has been an area that we've really focused on in the last couple of years through our Partnership for Youth Coalition and through some federal funds. And so we have seen some movement of substance use, especially with 7th graders, and we have seen a decrease among 11th graders. And so we are pleased about that, but we are seeing an increase among our youth with mental health concerns as well as suicide ideation.
You mentioned smoking, and there's a lot of discussion about flavored e-cigarettes hooking kids into
Correct.
smoking.
Yeah, and so that's something we're very proud of what Manhattan Beach has done, of course. They have a ban on smoking and the sale of tobacco products, and so Manhattan Beach has really led the way with that. Hermosa Beach has followed, as has Redondo, on the flavored tobacco. So that is something that we're concerned about. We're very pleased with what the beach cities have done. When we look at cannabis, that's something that's going to be before the voters here in all 3 cities, most likely. And what we're seeing is that flavored cannabis is sort of the next area that many states that are ahead of us are scrambling to prevent. They're seeing that in Colorado and Washington.
I was the mayor of Manhattan Beach when we passed our anti-smoking, public smoking ordinance, and one speaker during public comment said, well, us smokers have rights. And then another person, of course we were concerned about secondhand smoke,
Right.
and people that want to exercise a healthy lifestyle, they don't want to be exposed to
Right.
that. Another speaker came up and said, your rights end at the tip of your nose.
Yeah, community health is obviously a huge focus of the health district and preventative health, and so trying to create a healthy beach community for everybody. We don't want to come in and be the health police, if you will, but we do want people to understand that sometimes their choices affect the community and the community's health, and so we want to be cognizant of that.
And it's more about education
Exactly.
rather than, having the whip or, being
Exactly.
authoritative.
Exactly.
Well, I want you to talk about the next part of the community health priority, and that's physical and brain health.
Yeah, and physical health has really been an area that we've been working on for about 20 years. As most people know, we were originally a rural hospital. I know that doesn't just roll off the tongue, but believe it or not, in the 1950s we were pretty rural here in the South Bay, and so we opened the hospital. And then in the 1990s we switched to community health and preventative health, and have really been focusing on the physical health for all of those 20 years. And so we are seeing results in Redondo, where childhood obesity has been reduced in Redondo, and so that's where those programs fall under, is on the physical health. And then we merged in brain health from a physical standpoint as it relates to older adults and dementia, and so that's what we're talking about there. And we did have a health priority of cognitive health, but based on the feedback from the community, and again, all of our programs are determined by what the community says are their health needs, and so we've put dementia into that area of brain health and physical health.
And when it comes to preventative health, a lot of it is a healthy lifestyle with exercise and a proper diet, typically or preferably plant-based foods.
Exactly, and I believe you were mayor or certainly on council when we did the Blue Zones project, and so we are a certified Blue Zones community, and so we follow the Blue Zones principles, and all of the data and all the research shows that not only if you eat right and get lots of sleep, that's a big area of course where people are doing some more research. If you do all those things, not only will you be physically healthy, but you'll be emotionally healthy as well.
Yeah, we have a number of certified Blue Zones restaurants in Manhattan Beach and of course elsewhere in the other beach cities.
Yes, we do. At last count we were around 100, and we just upped our contract with Blue Zones, and we're very pleased about that.
Yeah, well, and it all makes sense. We talk about having increased longevity, but not just for having a longer lifespan, but also a healthy lifespan during that period.
Exactly, and that's where that emotional health comes in. And so when I look at the data for the South Bay, physically we're in good shape, emotionally we're getting better, and so we're trying to work at the health district with ways that we can help people cope with emotional stress rather than substances. And so substance use is high in the South Bay, not just for youth but adults, and so that's a big area of focus for us.
And I know there's a lot of stress factors. Sometimes it's job related,
Right.
Other times it's family related, but more recently COVID has caused a lot of strain. But I know the Beach Cities Health District has had a very strong COVID response. Talk about that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Wayne. We were able to pivot right when COVID hit, and as a health agency, we were able to meet needs that otherwise wouldn't have been met. And the first biggest need that we saw was around testing. And so we were able to contract with LA County and partner with them, where we were one of the first 3 LA County sites that opened up. We opened up at the Gateway there in Redondo, and then we then opened up at our site, and we did 150,000 tests for over a year. We continue to test today. We're testing teachers that have not been vaccinated, and when there are outbreaks of COVID, we come in and we test. And so that was one area that we were able to fill a gap. Had we not stepped up and provided that service, that would not have been available to our beach residents. And so yes, we did have people from other cities using that test site, but we were able to have it available in close proximity for the beach cities because we were regionally addressing the pandemic, and the incremental costs for that were funded by FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Act, and so we have received reimbursement for that.
And I know the Beach Cities Health District has a number of micro grants that they
Yes.
give various organizations for their efforts as well.
Yeah, we have a pool of money available each year so that if people have a health-related program that they'd like to start or give a try, we come in. They're kind of incubator funds. They're typically in the $5,000 range, and we're able to sort of kickstart some projects. Many of the leadership classes have come to us when they have health-related projects, and so we've been able to help with that.
And by the way, thank you for the $150,000 grant for the Manhattan Beach Scout House and older adult facility that is now going to be underway.
Yeah, that was a natural for us, a great way to continue to provide service for the older adults. As you know, we do care management or case management for 500 older adults in the South Bay at any given time. And so helping out with that facility in Manhattan was an easy one for us, especially because there was a intergenerational component with the Scout House, and we were able to sponsor not only a meeting room but a kitchen. And so again, teaching people good eating habits and cooking habits, and having older adults and younger folks work together on that was a natural for us.
Well, long before I heard about the Beach Cities Health District and promoting wellness, I was a junk foods junkie, and I would tell people, when I'm gone, I'll be well preserved.
Right.
And but then I learned the importance of a healthy diet, and of course I've always exercised.
Right.
So, which is what a lot of people think, that just a healthy diet alone is enough. But
Right.
no, it has to be in conjunction with diet, with exercise.
Right, and we have our free fitness programs coming up where we do yoga on the beach, and we do Zumba in Manhattan Beach, and then we do Zumba in the park in Redondo. We're also doing yoga in Hermosa. And so, yeah, having that physical activity coupled with good eating habits, coupled with sort of what I call the emotional side. And so those are all the Blue Zones. We're touching on all the Blue Zones principles. And so you have, then that third piece is really that connection and having the right tribe and a purpose, and then downshifting. I think that's something that maybe in the South Bay we don't, I'll speak for myself, I don't do enough, which is take a break and downshift a little bit and be with family and friends. And so especially during these times, that's something that we're urging people to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that gets us to the Alcove Beach Cities project, which is a youth wellness center that's coming to Beach Cities Health District this fall for people ages 12 to 25.
Yeah, we're very excited about this. This is a pilot program. There are going to be 6 of them in California. So we were selected to be a part of this. This is a project that Stanford University is very involved with. It's bringing over a concept from Australia that's been very successful, where you create these centers that are created by the youth, and it's a place where youth or young adults can come and receive any kind of service, but really geared towards mental health services or social connection services. And so they can come hang out and do homework, or they can come get counseling, or they can come be part of a group counseling setting, and really trying to remove that stigma around mental health and have it be a place that youth recognize as, hey, that's a safe place to go to receive help. And so we're very excited about that. We're going to be opening that over at our 514 Prospect campus in Redondo, the old South Bay Hospital. We're going to be temporarily opening it there, Wayne, and then the plan would be that would be in phase 1 of our Healthy Living Campus redevelopment project.
So on that note, one of the hotly discussed topics is the proposed Healthy Living Campus.
Right.
And it's been scaled down.
Right.
You've had new public hearings, took input from neighbors, a couple of which still may have some concerns. Talk about that project.
Yeah, so I talked about our evolution of health needs in the South Bay. It started out as the hospital, and we've now evolved to where we have other health needs that we've just been discussing. We've had the Surgeon General, who's now back. He's now the current Surgeon General again, and he's come out to visit us because of our success we're having with Blue Zones. And so you walk onto our campus with all these awards and accolades and cutting edge things we're doing, and then you walk onto our home, which is a 1955 hospital, and there's a big thud. There's a disconnect between where we've evolved to as far as meeting the health needs of the community and what our campus is, which it's a 1955 hospital that currently does not meet seismic standards.
A 60-year-old building?
It's a 60-year-old building. And the other thing is that we're able to use our campus to provide health services and generate revenue that we then use for our programs. And so what we've been trying to balance, and the way I just frame it really simply, is we want to redevelop our campus in a way that meets our health needs. So I just described that a little bit. We want to do that in a way that impacts the neighborhood to the least extent possible. And then we want to generate revenue for our 40+ free programs that you mentioned. And so that's the balance we're trying to reach. We're a health organization. We don't want to add to people's stress, and so we've taken 5 years to put together our master plan. Our board in November did approve an environmental impact report. They're able to do that as the lead agency. And so now we're going to be going to the city of Redondo Beach for a conditional use permit. And so these types of uses are allowed in this zone. No vote is required for that, but it does require a conditional use permit where there are conditions that are placed on your ability to provide that use. And then there's also a design review. You know all this from your city council and mayor days. So there will be a design review, and we'll be looking at height, and we'll be looking at open space. I think there's some concern about the height, and we're not having it be a tall building because we feel like doing that. We're doing that so that we can maximize the 2 acres of open space. And so that'll be part of the trade-off, and we hope that people will engage in a trade-off discussion and say, hey, I really don't like the height, but boy, I like the open space, so how can we make that work? That's the kind of dialogue that we'd like. We obviously don't want to impact the neighbors. The EIR came back with very few impacts. There will be a noise impact during construction. There was a visual impact that we were able to mitigate during the EIR process, but those will be things that Redondo Planning Commission will look at when we go to our conditional use permit. But I guess what I would just urge, I know people have concerns, and we want to respect that, and we want to respect people's purpose, which sometimes their purpose is to defend their home and defend their quality of life, and we respect that, and we really want people to work with us. As you mentioned, we have reduced the size of the project. It was 420 residential care units. It's now 217. We have the Alcove project in there, and then we have what we call the PACE program, which is a program for all-inclusive care for the elderly.
And in phase 2 of the project, there'll be
That's
a
right.
swimming facility
That's right.
and some other amenities.
Yeah, so I was just describing phase 1. You're absolutely right. In phase 2 is when we would look at an aquatics facility that's long been talked about in the South Bay, so we do have that in our master plan for phase 2. And then we have what we call the Community Wellness Pavilion, and that's where we want to create a place, a center of excellence, where people can come to be well and learn about programs, whether it be Blue Zones or whether it be reducing childhood obesity, have a demonstration kitchen. And so we're envisioning all of that in phase 2. And then we would also need to bring back the Center for Health and Fitness. As most people know, we have a medically accredited gym. We're the only medically accredited fitness facility in California. That's currently on our campus. It would need to temporarily move during phase 1 and then would come back in phase 2.
You also have a Live Well program.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so again, it gets back to some of those Blue Zones principles and basically the way that we can come and educate and teach people about how they can live well and be well. We do that. We have a Live Well Kids program, and that's where we've really assisted with reducing childhood obesity. And so, again, it's giving people tools to live a long and healthy life. We like to say that we are your health resource. And so in the 1950s, we were a hospital because that's the resource people wanted. What people want now is how to learn to be healthy and make healthy decisions, and the mental health side. And so that's where we're shifting. 2 years ago, people's health needs was responding to a pandemic. And so, as I mentioned, we did the testing. We were also able to do vaccines, and we were able to get people some vaccines right away.
And to the extent that someone's healthy, it keeps them out of the hospital, preventative
Exactly.
health care.
Exactly. And so the statistic we use is that 70% of the chronic illnesses that people go into the hospital for are preventable. And so we want to have people make healthy choices and live well and be well.
One facility that I like, and it's the kid at heart in me, is the Adventureplex
Right.
complex, and I've climbed the rock wall.
Okay. Yeah, so you're talking about the Adventureplex, which people may not know, that is a Beach Cities Health District facility. It is in Manhattan Beach on Marine, and we have a climbing wall. My favorite is the Toddler Town, where we teach toddlers where food comes from. It doesn't come from McDonald's. It comes from, we have an area that's the farm, and then we have the grocery store, and then we have a huge kitchen, and so we have folks in there that help navigate all the cans of food and everything, and the toddlers learn where food comes from. And so we are continuing to look at Adventureplex and ways in which we can maximize that facility, and that's been some of the discussion in some of our strategic planning, is looking at Adventureplex and what's next for Adventureplex.
Well, there's over 40 programs, and we could not, talk about them in such a short show. But if anybody wants to see all of these free programs, again, they could go to your website at bchd.org.
Right. They should go to bchd.org, and they should also go online to that same website and look at some of our what we call priority-based budgeting and some of the financial information we've been providing. As you know from your days, it's budget time with municipalities, and so just last night we were talking with our board about the upcoming budget, and we're doing a much better job of showing where we spend our funds, what the results are. We have lots of data, and so we've been able to systematically prioritize our programs by measuring results and then comparing that to what we spend on it, and then making priority decisions. And so that's something that we're doing a lot of work on.
And you do public surveys to see what people's priorities are and where you should be directing your efforts.
That's right. So we really do try to use not only data that we get, we're getting much more data from LA County here lately, which has been great, but we do surveys. We did a survey around our community health report, which you mentioned at the beginning. And then every 2 to 3 years, we come in with Gallup and we do what's called the Well-Being Index survey. So Gallup comes in and assists us with that. And then we then align our programs to match those results, and then we measure how well we're doing that.
Great. Well, this has been very informative, Tom. Thank you for being a guest. This is Wayne Powell reporting for Good Morning South Bay on South Bay TV. Stay safe, be well, and have a great day and a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.